Alright everyone, so we're starting this video. We're going to talk a little bit about adding and modifying text. Okay, so let's go to annotate, and the first thing we need to do in annotate is we're going to find multi-line text, and let's just create a space for us to do our text in, okay? You can change the scale of it later by going back to home and changing the scale, or if you wanted to, you can add it right here. In this case, let's make 1/2 inch. Okay, I'm going to take my font. I'm going to come down and pick up Magneto real quick. I think that it does a good job of, sorry, I hit the, so you can see right there I didn't make my box big enough, so now maybe bring my box out here. That's about where we want to be. So instead of hitting enter, which would just go down, sorry, hit the wrong button. That happens sometimes. So here, let's go to here, and Magneto. My mouse is not cooperating with me today. Okay, so let's put in here Welder's Rock. I'm gonna, if I wanted to go down vertical, I could easily do it in this direction, right? Set it like that. But in this case, we're just gonna leave it like this, and then you can play around with it and figure the other sections out. So I'm gonna stop it here, and the next thing I need to do is I need to come to Express Tools, and I need to modify my text, and it's gonna ask me which one. There we go. Alright, so see what happens when it's exploded is you can see now we have these lines. Well, each one of these individual lines is going to be a cut piece, and they're also broken individual sections. So now at this point, what I would want to do is I need to come to home, and I've got all these broke apart. There's a few different things I could do. Like in this case, I could easily just pull this piece to there. Well, it's a solid line, so I can't do that. But I can also, basically, when I like to work with something like this, why wouldn't I just highlight it, and then I'll see what I can do for trim. So kind of the funky part about the trim is that there's multiple lines here, okay? So you might be dealing with one or two. There's basically 2 layers. So I think this will do well for a couple of my demonstrations here. As you can tell in the D, once this cuts out, it's just going to fall out, and then it just looks like one big object. And we want to try to keep that in order where it resembles a symbol. My zoom in button is not working, sorry. So like here, the metal's going to come through here, and you'll be able to keep this, and then this will fall out, this will fall out. But same problem here with this one. Trim this out, is that this is going to fall out, okay? So there's a couple things we can do. Well, we're coming through this. I'm going to come back here and use this as a good example because there's a couple spots here that are pretty slick. The plasma is going to come up and see this line where these intersect, and it's going to try to make all these cuts too. So I'm going to have to kind of clean this up a little bit. So let me just take this one, and it's not there. So the other, if you notice, it's all highlighted as one. So I can explode it, and then let's just say I take this line and just delete it. Right, I'm going to delete this one, I'm going to delete this one. And I'm going to take this one, and I'm just going to extend it out here to like there. Okay. The problem is it doesn't quite intersect. So let me actually overshoot it. Okay. And then here in a second I'll show you what else we would do. Now that we're there, we've kind of overshot this, and I want to trim, and I'm going to kind of come through here, highlight all of this, and now I can start working on trimming this, and I need to zoom in, and I need to make sure I get both of these lines as well. Okay, so now there's that solid section, and then up here I need to clean up this. Mouse of mine's giving me fits, but if you notice, like, it won't trim now, right? Well, that kind of creates an issue. So let's just come and do something else. Why don't we just delete it? And then how about if we took these two pieces right here, and say I brought this back to here, and then I brought this one to there. Now look how much cleaner that looks, okay? And the other thing, so from this one as well, one way to open this up is I'm going to go ahead and just basically extend this line down. So I'm going to take this one, and this one, and this one, and I'm going to explode them. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to delete. That one can be gone, and there's two of them there, so let's delete that. So this is a nice big section. Sorry. Delete. I'm going to kind of clean this up just a little bit. I can leave that one there. Let's see what we can do with it. So this one's a nice straight line. Let me escape. Go ahead and just delete this one, because the less lines I have, the easier this is going to be. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull this out like that. Okay? And then let's say I do the same thing here. And, you know, I could even take this one like this, and I could add an arc on it. So let me go ahead. I'm going to stop here, and I'm going to come up, and I need to find a 3-point arc. Okay? Because remember, we don't see, the CNC plasma doesn't see splines, but I'm going to come about where the middle of where I want my rounded piece to be, and then at that point I can always just kind of push this in a little bit, about like that. Okay, maneuver it in a little bit more. There we go. That looks a little smoother, and I could possibly even just take this section back to like there. And that looks like a nice little piece, okay? And then I'm done with those, so let me escape out of those. And let's go ahead and trim this up as well, okay? So trim, doesn't intersect anything. That one will, and that one will. But this doesn't intersect anything, so the easiest way to get rid of that, again, is just to highlight it and delete it. So now when that weld, when the machine comes along, it's just going to cut through this. And I would probably do the same thing here. I'd explode this, right, and I would basically take this section. Just going to delete those. It'll get rid of a few lines. And I'm going to take this one, and I'm just going to extend it all the way to there. Okay, it's going to give it kind of a nice clean look here, here. But notice right there, I've got that little spot, and that needs to be pulled back. You don't always have to trim, but I do recommend that you highlight both and make sure that they're both in the same spot. And then if you want, you can kind of pull them in and come back. So let me get my mouse here to work. But if you notice, this is going to look a lot cleaner and nicer. This gives it a little different profile. And then naturally, when I'm done with that, I'd want to take and highlight all these, and let's go ahead, modify, and join them. Okay, so when I highlight all that section, and then this one's there, and I would have to do the same over here. But you get the gist of the point now. We need to explode that text, so that way when it sees this line, it's only cutting through here, and it's not cutting through the middle of that piece, because once it hits here, the other piece is going to be cut out, and it's going to lose its cut sense and be done. Okay? Alright. Have fun.